This is an interesting illustration, but it's an illustration that Jesus used too. If you look at Matthew 24:7 and 8, Jesus used the same phrase. What did he say? For nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and in various places there will be famines, earthquakes, but all these things are merely the beginning of what? Birth pains. Birth pains. Birth pains. What's it like to go through birth pains? Guess what, guys? And evidently Paul had at least listened to some mothers. I think Paul was more than an observer. I think he must have listened to some mothers, because this is the illustration he uses as to how we are to survive until redemption. By the way, when's redemption?
Second coming.
At the end of the age, okay? How do you survive? And Paul uses this illustration of the pains of childbirth. Paul must have listened to others. Now, what are those pains like? I guess we'll have to ask some others. Is it painful to go through childbirth, mothers? As you remember. Unless you were just completely, drugged out of your mind. Usually when my two children were born with what we call back in those days, and it's still around today, natural childbirth. And it was actually called husband-coached childbirth. Now, you must remember, for me to do something like that was a big, big thing. Because for me, if I, at the sight of blood or anything, guess what happens to me? You've all heard of this before, but if I see blood or anything, I'm out. I'm gone. But I got through those two events of husband-coached childbirth. I guess it was because, was I feeling the pain that Judy was going through?
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling some of the physical pain, but because she was having pain, I was what?
Sympathizing.
Now, what kind of pain is that? What kind of suffering is that? If there could be such a word, that is called joyful suffering. Why? At the same time you're feeling pain, you know that the end of this pain is going to produce what?
Joy.
A joy in a child.